Is there anything more terrifying than an invisible enemy? A toxin that seeps into the population with almost 100% fatal consequences. Was this an accident, or is it just unforeseen incidents? Hello and welcome to YakWaxLips. My name is Michael, your point and click adventurer, and in today's video we're getting under the skin of the mystery thriller Unforeseen Incidents from Backwater, published by Applications Systems Heidelberg in 2017. If it's your first time here, I only make adventure game videos from old school classics through to new games, so if that sounds like your cup of tea, please join me by subscribing, turning the notifications on and hitting the like to show YouTube that adventure games are well and truly alive. The opening panoramic of lush forest surrounded by a run-down town of 3-story buildings sets the scene in this game. Complete with voiceover from the local radio station, they're discussing the unfortunate breakout of a virus dubbed Yelltown Fever. The mayor jumps on the station to declare that all is well and under control. Slowly we head into a ramshackle house where we meet Harper Pendril, a 20-something unemployed handyman asleep on his mattress on the floor. Spread around him are bits and pieces of tech half broken, and his windows are boarded up with cardboard. Suddenly the phone rings to wake Harper up, and the local professor needs help with his laptop. Harper is kind of a happy-go-lucky chap who, even though in the early stages he laments his dead mother and her boyfriend, he quickly papers over these feelings with small jokes and wit. This beanpole of a guy is the one who will one day help break open a huge conspiracy. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The town we wake up in, our home, is in fact Yelltown. On our way to help the professor fix his laptop, we can see it's a run-down, almost shantytown-esque place. Once it could have been thriving, but bit by bit the outside world has moved on and little to no funds have made their way into the town. The one hotel there has its roof falling off and the junkyard is overflowing. But it's home. The Professor McBride, a man in his mid-50s or so, is trying to discover a vaccine for the virus. He's jolly, but not jovial. There's definitely some dark parts to his past, I think. Once we've patched up the laptop, on our way back home, a young woman is slumped against a wall, covered in blood and coughing. It's Yelltown Fever, and it's made its way directly to our door. The RHC are the ones to call to help here, but this girl wants nothing to do with that. In fact, she's strongly telling us to not call the RHC. And here is the start of a mysterious and terrifying jump into the cause of Yelltown Fever and our adventure. Along with Professor McBride, journalist Helliwell will help the cause and find where the mystery goes.
Some kind of code or formula. There are numbers and wave-like symbols. Why would Patty bother with this Nancy Drew crap?
So, Harper. He's a loner who likes to help, and he's that guy that everyone knows, but no one really knows, you know? His moral compass is pretty straight, and he gets what the difference between right and wrong is. He's also a dab hand with the multi-tool. Multi-tool! Throughout the game it comes in handy several times. Seeing as the subject matter gets pretty dark at times, occasionally his reactions lean towards comedy. It's not that he's joking about the matter at hand, rather that he might chime in with a witty quip that once or twice misses the mark. It's not the time, Harper. Apart from these few occasions, Harper is a genuinely nice guy to be around. The same can be said for both Professor McBride and Helliwell. McBride jokes with the best of them with humour drier than the Sahara, but Helliwell seems to have left her sense of humour at home. She's a reporter, dead set on uncovering the truth and shoots straight as an arrow, sometimes willing to cross the legal line to get what she wants. The threesome work together wonderfully. It's all helped with some wonderful voice acting. Matthew Curtis brings Harper to life without going too far into tongue-in-cheek territory, and both Steve Fortune and Jessica Carroll give some weight to already well-written characters in McBride and Helliwell respectively.
The TV VCR combo, the pinnacle of home entertainment systems. This thing's actually in pretty good condition. I wonder if it works. I'm sure Leroy won't mind if I borrow it.
The dialogue, written by Alistair Beckett King, who wrote the fantastic pirate comedy point-and-click Nelly Cootalot, never veers into comedy too much here, which helps the world feel grounded and real. Unforeseen Incidents is split into 4 very distinct chapters. Chapter 1 is set in Yaletown in what seems like late afternoon. Chapter 2 in the Greystone Woods National Park at night time. Chapter 3 in the more metropolitan Port Nicola, full of trendy bars and bustling harbour. And finally Chapter 4 in a frozen, abandoned ghost town. There are great secondary characters to meet in each chapter. In Yaletown, the football-obsessed guys are very funny. And in Chapter 2, both Park Ranger Jervis, with her over-the-top aggressiveness, plays great against the nonchalant Harper. Add in the crazy hippie artist Cardero, and it's probably my favourite chapter of the game. Port Nicola, although the most populated area, is probably my least favourite, but the story really takes hold here as we uncover some deeper secrets. And finally, the Frosty Baron chapter brings it all together. Although there are less people here, and those that are there we spend little time with. The point and click controls are simple enough. Left click does it all. If you can interact with an item or person, your cursor will turn to a small circle. The inventory is hidden away at the top and pops out if you hover over it. There are 1 or 2 items that also have sub-menus. The multi-tool is one such thing. Hover over the multi-tool and another menu will drop down to let us choose between the tools. Knife, bottle opener, file, tweezers, well, you can see. It can be a little cumbersome here, and more than once the second menu disappeared after I hovered too quick or moved just off the menu slightly. The way you can use items on screen could have been a little easier too. You have to hold down the mouse and drag the items to whatever you wish to use it on. Whereas personally I'd like to have clicked on the item and it picks it up to use on the screen. It is a little complaint, but I did get over it pretty fast. A huge plus point is also there are a bajillion save spots, so go crazy, I did. The biggest plus point of the game for me though is that it doesn't hold your hand on the puzzles. Occasionally Harper will point us in the general direction of what we need to do, but more often than not we're left to discover it ourselves. When I completed a puzzle, there was genuine delight that I'd managed to figure it out. The range of puzzles is pretty good too. There's the usual point and click puzzles where we need to use a knife on a lock to open it, for example, but added in are also more detective style puzzles. We get given quite a bit to read throughout, such as a diary, some flyers and pamphlets, receipts and more things like this, and we have to really dive deep and cross-reference these to move the story forwards. But never do we read a part of something and then Harper goes, that seems relevant, because in real life he wouldn't do that until after the event, and Unforeseen Incidents knows this too. I can't think of a game in recent times that made me feel like a superhero for figuring out the code to a computer. Between each chapter there's also a hacking puzzle where you need to unlock files by figuring out the lines of a virus. It's totally not needed at all, but it's just another way to include some fun puzzles. There's also a few small points where your choices make a difference. It doesn't change the story, but you can make moral choices either way sometimes. I played through several parts twice to see how it plays out, and yeah, it was worth it. From the off, I love the art style too, like a cross between a graphic novel and some concept sketches. It certainly has its own look. The characters also follow this aesthetic. I do have to question the way some faces are created though. It's like a few faces have been forgotten and just scrubbed together at the last moment. Namely, Helliwell. I guess it does go with the comic book look, but it did get a little distracting and take me out of the story a few times. On that same issue, I have to say the walking cycles of most of the characters are, well, really bad. Harper aside, they all walk like Captain Scarlet has just had a colonoscopy. It was a great shame, as at some pivotal moments when there was a big reveal, it was always punctuated by them walking away, and instead of me being completely invested in this incredible story, I was just thinking how lousy the walking was. Another minor annoyance was when you speak to a person, more often than not the screen zooms into their face, which on paper sounds like a good idea. Except instead of having new animations for the faces, it seems to just zoom on the faces from the original scene, meaning they become quite blurry. It would be a lot of work to create each and every character close up like this, so I get why it's done. I didn't really notice the music throughout too much, and for a game such as this, I think that's fine, as it just added another layer to the nuanced canvas. Unforeseen Incidents is a work of art in both plot, location, and particularly the puzzles, with the final payoff just about working out. Apart from the terrible walking animations, I really cannot fault it, and would urge you to pick it up and discover it for yourself. You can get a copy from the link in the description below. Thanks for watching my review of Unforeseen Incidents. Please join me for more adventure game videos by hitting subscribe and liking the video too. Let me know in the comments down below if you've played the game off the back of this review and what you think of it. Thanks to Applications Systems Heidelberg for the review copy, and until next time, have a great day and take care.